Welcome back for part 3 of our Fairgrounds interview with Tony Bentley. We're going to talk a little bit about his post-Fairgrounds exploits, and you've really established yourself on the steeplechase circuit. Where does that go back to? When did you call your first steeplechase event?
Actually, Delaware Park, 1975. They used to do. They would have like 2 weeks of steeplechasing where they'd do one every day, or two, and they had a great history there of stakes races. So I got to meet the steeplechase people, and that kind of got into, well, look, Tony, what are you doing next April? Could you come up and do the Radnor races or whatever? Because that mid-'70s was just when the steeplechase game was starting to get some corporate sponsorship. It used to be very low-key, and anybody called the races, and yep, I think that's Jim's horse. He's looking good today, and Fred's horse is coming up. But now you started to get corporate sponsorship, some TV interest. So they started, hiring professionals to come in and do things. So I did like the one, and then someone would say, are you available for this one? So I started picking up more race meets, and I would do as many as I could, depending on my flat track schedule as to when the fairgrounds ended and wherever I was working in the summer. So I would ebb and flow as far as how many meets I was available to do. But then after 2001, I just, was available to do as many as I could, which I do virtually all of them now. And after I taught tennis in Montana in the summers for a while, and then after 2001, I actually started year-round in New Orleans. But wherever I worked, whether it was my friend Rene Bagieux, the chef at Rene Bistro, or now at Galatoire's part-time, I always made arrangements so I could get away for those. So it's fun. It gets me out of town. In the spring, I'm gone like 12 weeks in a row, and in the fall about 6. And it's different places, different scenery.
Some of those meets, it's amazing. They get tens of thousands of people.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, there's no parimutuel racing. So the Iroquois steeplechase, it's a huge event in Nashville. It's like the spring coming out party. And they, top of my head, I probably give away, close to $400,000 in purse money, and none of it parimutuel wagering.
Wow.
It's all corporate sponsorships, and of course ticket sales, like the Far Hills race meet in New Jersey, which is the other huge one in the fall. You pay like $400 for your parking spot on the hill that your family's had for 30 years.
Right.
And then, but there are little ones. The week before, I'll be in Geneseo, New York, which is south of Rochester, which only has 2 sanctioned timber races, but then they have like 6 other races, like for riders over 175 pounds or stock horses, because these grew out of a tradition of fox hunting. And one day a year, they would put on a steeplechase, and the quote-unquote professionals would come in and ride for purse money. The term coming from, by the way back in Ireland, way back when, your horse versus mine, well, I'll race you. Well, where are we racing? Well, I'll race you to that steeple.
I see.
Well, what's the course? It's whoever gets there first. So you jumped fences or whatever you did. So hence the name. But yeah.
You called one recently that ended somewhat tragically, but actually turned into a mainstream news story.
It was, the Iroquois steeplechase. There was a horse named Arcadius, Hudson Valley Stables, real nice horse, and it was a terrific race. 4 horses, 2 fences to go, and Arcadius digs in, pulls away, and I had to kind of hustle out of there because we all have to catch a plane, but I see that the jockey's kind of crying with his tack, and I'm under, these weren't tears of joy, and then I glance over, and what had happened was the horse pulled up, everything's fine, and he's standing in the winner's circle, and there was a massive pulmonary aneurysm or something, which is a freak accident. Now, of course, as you know, there have been some stories in the paper, some negative publicity. The New York Times have been doing a series. And so there was an AP writer at this event. So that's how it got. But then Joe Clancy, very good writer, publisher of Steeplechase Times, he was there, and he wrote on the plane flying from Nashville to Baltimore a terrific piece that appeared on the front page of Monday's New York Times. Now, the story was that this was just a freak accident. It was a superb athlete doing what he was bred to do, and it was an unfortunate accident. Nothing, no skullduggery or drugs or anything like that. Yeah, it was. But it's a cruel game, as it can be.
Well, but you've been getting out there in the steeplechase world since Fairgrounds ended in 2001. Wanted to ask you, I'm sure you had opportunities to leave New Orleans. What kept you in this city?
I just, it just kind of grows on you. What can I say? And it was a great place to spend the winter,
Right.
Which I enjoyed a lot. So I just kind of never really pursued. I was happy where I was. I guess at one point everybody wants to be the New York announcer or the Santa Anita announcer. I'm sure I would have, but then I just kind of said, I'm happy where I am.
Yeah.
So.
And then, unbelievably, you start to gain traction as an actor.
Well, so
tell me how this happened.
2004, the tax credits started to, in effect, for productions in Louisiana came in. And I had been doing local theater, commercials, stuff like that, and I had an agent, so he started sending me out on movie auditions. And the first thing I did was a movie called Miracle Run with Mary Louise Parker, and so that led to another one, and so I've done about, I guess about 30 or so movies, and I've had some great fun. One-on-one scenes with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
I just finished a movie called 12 Years a Slave, which is a Brad Pitt produced and stars in movie, directed by Steve McQueen, the black English director, Paul Giamatti, Michael Fassbender, and I have a nice little part with Chiwetel, the black guy that plays. Story of a guy who's kidnapped in 1840 in Saratoga, a free man of color who's kidnapped and sold into slavery, but gets out 12 years later with the help of the governor of New York. But anyway, the movies have been, it's just way fun to be in a movie. And to get to take a gun away from Academy Award winner Nicolas Cage, that's way
Was
cool.
that Bad Lieutenant?
Yes, Bad Lieutenant.
And that's Werner Herzog, right?
And Werner, he's a great guy, legendary guy, and he does all his own slates. Okay, this is a take 3 scene, and he's right there. And in this one scene, I take his gun away, and I'm like, come on, give me the gun. And there's Werner going, okay, I love the fingers. I love the fingers. Give me more the fingers. And then the camera comes around, and you see a close-up of my fingers. And that stuff is way cool.
And you've got pretty much a guaranteed blockbuster coming up. I mean, you are in part 2 of the Twilight Saga.
Yes, I recorded the audition right in this very room. I know there's lucky vibes here. It's a short scene, but it is with Kristen Stewart. And we were, play a maitre d', and we were filming in Dominica, and I take her, I don't know what, hey, nice to see you, your regular table is, whatever, and which hopefully will be worth like, $20,000 in residuals, I'm hoping.
I hope so too.
Yeah, buy it, kids, buy the comic book, the lunchbox, everything. But, and I take her in, and Wendell Pierce is actually there. They have seen it. Yeah, so that was fun. Bill Condon directs that. He directed Chicago, and but yeah, and I played a judge where Mark Wahlberg was my defendant in Broken City. We shot over here at Tulane and Broad. So yeah, it's a cruel business. You audition and you think, well, that was horrible, and then they call you back and say, so. But it's fun.
I remember seeing you pop up in an episode of Treme too, and it was ironic because other scenes in that episode were here at Fairgrounds.
Yes.
But you were playing a cop.
A FEMA official.
A FEMA official.
Where the guy Hidalgo, who's a somewhat shady guy who's trying to get all these trash hauling demolition deals, comes to see me, and I go, well, look, I really can't help you. And he gives me a business card, and I go, I could make a call. And that's what he goes. He goes. And actually, the fun thing was that was directed by Tim Robbins, and he was there at the audition, which had me kind of like wetting my pants, but whatever. I guess he liked what I did because I got hired.
Well, you can see Tony's entire film history on IMDb.com. That's where I was looking last night.
And keep hitting it because it says up 8% in popularity.
There you go.
So hammer it.
Well, nobody in New Orleans ever knows where they're going to see you exactly. You seem to pop up everywhere. What else is going on with you, and what's coming up after this quarter horse meet?
Well, a little time off. The steeplechase season will start up again in the fall, and then we hope a few more movies come along, and I might make a few more, cameo appearances at Galatoire's.
Yeah. Where
I work a couple nights a week. It's good. It gets me out of the house.
Excellent.
So.
Well, there you have it. Tony Bentley, Fairgrounds legend. We're thrilled to have him back for our 5th season of quarter horse racing opening on Wednesday. Tony, thanks for being here.
Come on out. Great.
Excellent.
Thank you, sir.
You got it.